Thank you so much, Fred Couples, for joining us now. We've got Fred on the phone here, and we're going to ask him a few fun questions. Obviously, this week is the Masters. Would have been the Masters this week. You would have been right down the road from me here in Augusta. What are you missing most about the Masters this week?
Great question. Well, the obvious is being there and playing the course. It's my favorite golf course in the world. I miss the Champions dinner Tuesday night, and obviously the par 3 tournament on Wednesday is always a staple with me. I think I've missed it a couple times because of my back, and I just didn't want to wear myself out to play. But really, the whole week, we rent a house. We have a lot of close friends stay with us, and it's a very fast week. You know, you get in there Sunday, or at least I have the last several years, and you play. I've been lucky enough to play 9 holes every day for 3 or 4 years now with Tiger on Monday, and then you practice. Tuesday, a little practice, and Wednesday you play, and then par 3, and then, you know, bingo. Thursday, the tournament starts, and it's kind of a very quick 7 days. A lot of tournaments aren't, but the practice facility is so unique. It's just what any golfer would want to build if they could. The driving range is exceptional. It's got, you can tee off where you got to drive it and draw the ball, or you go down to the right side, you cut the ball, the chipping greens, the putting greens. So, you know, I just like walking around, hanging around, talking to the guys, and spending them. I really spend more time there than I do at any other tournament, and that's in my whole career, because the driving range will keep you at the golf course.
Yeah, that's pretty much almost identical of what Matt Kuchar kind of talked to us about earlier in the week. And he said, you don't ever really want to leave. You kind of want to hang out. And he said the same thing. It's probably the most time I spend on a practice range, and I just hang out and I talk to guys he you know, like Fred and, you know, past champions are just hanging around, and it's just such a cool experience. You don't really want to leave.
No. And the other thing is that I see people that I don't ever see, and they see me and they rarely see me. And that might be, you know, last year I saw Eddie Pepperell, and Eddie Pepperell had a very good European year, and I watched him play a lot. And I just went up to him and I said, hey, wanted to say hi. I like the way you play. And, you know, other guys will come up and say hi to you because, you know, I'm 60 now and they just don't see you.
So what would you say is your favorite Masters memory ever?
Well, I would say my favorite Masters memory ever would it's not a surprise, but the very first one I played in 1983, I parked and I got a ride, and I walked up to the front door, and the security guard said, hi, Mr. Couples, it's very nice to see you. And I'm like, wow, this guy knew who the heck I was. And then I stayed down there for 8 years in the normal locker room. And then when I won, you know, now I'm in the, you know, past champions locker room, obviously winning. I mean, anyone would tell you the year they won a major, whether it was the U.S. Open, but the memories of seeing Sam Snead on the driving range and just his swing and how pure he hit it in his 80s was insane to me. I mean, it was just insane. So there's so many little things, but, you know, once you get playing the golf, you know, I remember good pairings that I had where I watched the guy shoot a 68, and, you know, it just looked so easy. And then I watched guys shoot 76, and, you know, it looked so hard. So the weekend itself, there's so many little memories. But for me, you know, in 1982, I did really well at the PGA, and it got me into Augusta, and it was unreal. I mean, that PGA was in August, and I could really have cared less about anything until April the next year.
What would you say is the best golf advice you've ever received?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, boy, I think Ray Floyd probably told me. I played a few events with him, in a couple special events like the shark shootout and a shells match. And I became friends with him, and I asked him a few questions. And one of the things he told me is I need to play the par fives a little more reasonable and not be so crazy on my second shots. Meaning, when we were partners, you know, he'd hit a good drive out there, and I'd have a 3-wood or a 2-iron. The pin would be tucked well to the right, you know. And basically, what he asked me is, "How many eagles did you make last year?" And I said, "You know, Raymond, I don't know, not that many, maybe 12 or 14. He goes, "Yeah, so you play 4 par fives a day, you know, times by 4, where you play 16 of them. You probably played 150 par fives, and you make 12 eagles, but you're trying to eagle every one of them." He says, "Just get the ball on the green, 2-putt in the next hole." And he goes, "With your length, really on most golf courses, par is 69 for you, because you should shoot 3, you know, you should birdie 3 of the 4 par fives when you're playing well." And that kind of stuck to me. And really, I started to play par fives better. It was so long ago, but I do know for a fact, and if you have my caddy on the line, you know, he would tell you that by me playing par fives better, I started to score better.
What are you watching? What are some shows you're kind of binging and watching right now?
Well, we just ripped through Ozark, which we've seen all. This is now the third series.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
We watched Outsider, which kind of scared the hell out of me, but it was entertaining. A lot of Larry David. And then we'll get on these binges that the other night we watched probably 2.5 hours of anything that James Corden was doing, whether it was a show or karaoke in cars. Hunter is with us. And so we're watching a lot of shows he can watch, and then he's still doing schoolwork on computer-wise, and then we'll go play basketball. There's a hoop down the street. We'll go on bike rides. But basically, you know, Suzanne has a ton of shows she's watching, and I don't watch a lot of them because I don't know much about them. But we ripped through Ozark very fast, like in 2 days, 10 episodes. So that was kind of a mistake. We're huge Jeopardy people, and you know, it's life. Besides being scared to death to go out and get this virus, life's kind of the same. It's just like if I was playing a golf tournament. You know, I wake up and I do a little bit, and then I'll go play, and I come home, watch a little TV, and I don't do much. I go to bed, and then I'll get up and do it again. Oh, I'll tell you what we watched. We watched, oh my God, Tiger King.
Oh yeah, me too. I've seen that one. How crazy was that show?
It was so over the top that after every episode we'd look at each other and say, "You want to do another one?" And I would wait for her to reply, thinking she's going to say no, and then we'd watch it again. And it actually has become like half the text I get where people are trying to be funny are involving this guy.
Yeah, Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic, yeah. But we watched it. That was one probably 2 weeks ago, and it blew my mind. I mean, it absolutely blew my mind.
What do you think you would shoot left-handed over 18 holes if you had to play left-handed?
At this time in my life, I probably wouldn't even be able to play 18 holes left-handed because my body would be shot. But if I was 35 years old, I mean, I played, for instance, a few practice rounds with Phil, and we would play a hole, and he would use my clubs, and I would use his.
Oh.
And oddly enough, I'll never forget it. One of the holes we played, which makes no sense at all, was number 8 at Pebble. And he made par with my club. Now, he's a very, very good right-handed player.
Right.
But I hit 2 shots, and I got it over the ravine and down in front of it. But when I say in front of the green, 50 yards in front of the green, I chipped it on and made bogey. And for the people watching us, they must have thought we were the greatest players in the world. But Phil can play. Phil can play right-handed. There's a few other guys, and I don't know what they shot, but I can't even guesstimate. But I mean, again, 35 years old, you're going to have a lot of bad holes. But God, if I went out and hit a bucket of balls for an hour and a half left-handed, I think my body would be gone. Average double bogey. So what's that? That's 36 overs. So 108. What did these two guys shoot? Did they actually keep score?
Yeah, they played out. They kind of streamed it on Instagram and showed a bunch of them. And Ricky broke 100. He shot 97, and Justin Thomas kind of blew up on the last few holes, and I think he shot 107 or 105. So Ricky clipped him, but Ricky broke 100.
Yeah, that's very, very good. Very good.
What is your favorite Tiger story?
Oh my God. I'll tell you a really good one that just happened in December at the President's Cup. It's not a story, but it's about Tiger. So he was phenomenal as the captain. Phenomenal. Playing captain.
Yes.
So we get around and, he doesn't play Saturday morning, and he tells us over the radio, which is maybe a handful more, but Stricker and Zach and I, that fellas, I'm not going to play in the afternoon. And so my comment was I almost threw up because we were we needed points, and I figured he's going to get us a point. So anyway, that wasn't it. But then Sunday we put him out first because he's our captain. So as soon as he's done, then he's running around. But one of the things that I really, really enjoyed was all the hugs after he beat the
Answer.
Great kid. Yeah, he beat Abraham Answer. He was a great kid. And so now we're driving around, and he's got his cart, and we go watch, I want to say maybe DeChambeau end up having his match on 18. And so he looks at me, and he says, dude, how did you do this? I'm so nervous. I can't take this. And I said, Tiger, just hang in there. We're looking good. And then, of course, Joe LaCava is standing an inch from both of us. And he says, we're not looking that good. We got to win those last two matches, which were, at the time, Kuchar and Ricky. And so I'm looking at the board, and it's all red. It's all USA. And I'm like, well, he goes, yeah, well, that's just to get us to the promised land, but we still got to win those last two. And so at that time, Justin Thomas, I think, was one up with like 7 holes to go. But then he ended up getting beat pretty easily. And sure enough, Matt Kuchar won the winning point, and Ricky ended up losing the last hole. It didn't matter to have his match, but we won. We won. But just him looking at me, you guys never felt pressure. Well, he's felt pressure, but he was under a lot of stress. But he was so good in Australia as the President's Cup captain. He just did such a good job.
I got to tell you, it was so fun from a fan perspective, watching you two kind of work together, especially when you did the selections. And Kuchar had a President's Cup story and was talking about how you had some great things to say, but you leaning over, like whispering in his ear in that press conference, and like everyone wondering, like, what do you think Fred's telling him? And how is his pick? It was just such a cool interaction to know that you've been so successful at the President's Cup.
No, you know what's funny is, so my phone's in my pocket, and it's beeping 15 times, and I didn't look at it, obviously, but when we're done. But what happens there is, you do everything you can to pair your guys up in a proper way. And so we predicted a couple things. And so he looked at me, and I always have that sheepish grin when something, goes your way, whether I make a birdie or, somebody that I'm watching on TV, does something. And in this case, we had matched up a group, although, a day later we lost every match but one. But as they were going, we would just laugh when, because you're putting, they're going to put Abraham Answer 5th with Adam Scott. And that's going to be a weird pairing, but that's where it's going to go. And then we're going to have, Gary Woodland and Dustin Johnson, who are 2 bombers. And sure enough, we put them up there, and they say Abraham Answer and Adam Scott. And, it's a quick laugh because you're shocked, but that's one of the things that really he looked forward to. I will tell you, that was fun for him, the pairing. But when we were on those earphones, and at about 10:30, when the new pairings came out, he says, fellas, I'm not going to be, my body's not going to it's not going to work well. I'm going to take the afternoon off. Wow. I mean, that was some shockwave. And we all laugh about it now. It just was a lot, you know, and then it was really cold. Believe it or not, it was like rain gear weather in the mornings. And we told them, Tiger, please don't go out there at 5:30 on the bus. There's nothing for you to do. You stay in bed, have breakfast, do your deal, and get out there right before they go to the first tee. And he goes, no, I need to be there with the team. But then he came out Sunday, and I watched a handful of holes when they got started. Abraham Answer didn't do anything wrong. Tiger was like, I think he had 6 birdies and 16 holes, and he played really. But like you said, he played well. He and JT were a tough team.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was fun watching him play. Fun seeing you guys out there together and him playing lights out.
I think watching him win last year with his kids there, because I had asked him a few weeks before. I said, are your kids coming? And he said, no, they can't see anything. It's really no fun. But if Sam came, Charlie would come. And then for them to be there on Sunday was really, it was touching to everybody, but it was really a cool thing for me to see, because trust me, he wanted them there, and that's just another extra thing for him to think about, winning the Masters with his kids, there. And he went ahead and did it. It was, I think, my favorite thing about him. The hug with his father, I think in 96, is that correct? Is that his first win?
97.
That was very, okay, 97?
Yep.
That was, 97. That was an amazing hug. But the hug, I'm sure he bruised his kid's ribs, but it was cool. That's one of my favorite Tiger moments.
Last question. So you just switched to the new ball. Kind of tell me about the new ball and kind of what you like about it.
That's a hell of a question. So I don't know, maybe you do, how long I've been with Bridgestone, but I went and tested balls. My contract was up. I'm going to say let's just say it was 18 years ago, or a long time. So the longest ball when I tested them was Bridgestone. I'm a great iron player. When I went and hit irons, it doesn't take you much. I go take 6 or 8 balls and I hit them. And if I go out there and I'm swinging well, and all the Bridgestone balls are with a 6-iron 183 and the dispersion is left to right, I'm fine with that. But if you go out there and you got 1 6-iron that went 190, one went 179, one went 183, another one went 183, that's kind of an issue with me. So every time a new ball comes out with them, they know. They have Daryl, who's phenomenal. He knows, and he will tell them, you better have this right, because this guy, it doesn't take him much. I fly out there to meet with him, and I hit the new ball, and the ball that I think Tiger, it didn't go any further for me, and I was pounding these drivers. So then I hit this other ball, and I said, well, this is going 4 to 6 to 8 yards further. Tell me about this ball. Well, I don't know if it's a ball that you'll like, because it doesn't really spin and this and that, and Tiger's ball spins a lot, and that's what he wants. And I said, well, that 4 to 6 to 8 yards off the tee is huge to me. I play the Champions Tour. What's it going to do off the irons? So then I came home and I just basically tested with the irons, and it stopped well, and it works out both worlds, where I'm not Tiger Woods. If I was 48 years old, I'd be using that ball, but I just couldn't compress it enough to get the distance. And the ball that I'm using is one that I think most people who have a handicap of 8, 10 to 20 are going to want to use. But I absolutely love the ball. And of course, the first tournament I went to, was Hawaii, and if I had anyone putting but me, I would have won. So it was not the ball, and I played well with it ever since. And it's a really, really good golf ball. Otherwise, I would not use it. Second of all, Bridgestone, I've been with them forever. I've never had one ball that I've ever used where I said, you guys, this just isn't it's just not adequate. It's just not good enough. I mean, these other balls are better. And now you got Tiger Woods using it and absolutely loves it. And I've been paired with him a few times in President's Cups. And he always said, look, dude, I'll hit your Bridgestone. And he pounded it. And he really liked it. And I talked to Joe LaCava, who was my caddy for 23 years all the time. And he tells me all the things that Tiger likes about, you know, the ball 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago when he signed. It's a win-win for Bridgestone, and it's a win-win for me because I need to feel comfortable with this extra 5 to 7 yards. And when I get to be 64, 65, where yardage maybe doesn't become a distance because I physically can still pound it. I mean, I can hit it. I hit this ball up with Ernie Els when we were playing at Hawaii. And then every other, you know, every now and then Ernie would say, okay, enough of this. But overall, if we're just playing, you know, a normal hole where you just don't let it rip, I can get it close to Ernie. And that was big to me because that was the first tournament I used the ball. And the first round I played was with Ernie. And I drove it really, really well.
All right, Fred. Well, man, thanks so much for jumping on and fielding some of these questions. And we're looking forward to seeing you back out there, tee it up real soon.
All right, Adam. Thank you. Thanks for your time.